Now, ladies and gentlemen, with CSGO's newest update into Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Valve has released and introduced us to the newest case called the RECOIL case inside of Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And well, it's a lot to handle for a lot of people. There's some really cool stuff, there's some really interesting stuff, and there's some very wild decisions that were made with this case when it first got released. And after being a couple days of this case releasing, I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on this case, what I feel about the skins, what I like, what I don't like, what I'd like to see Valve improve on for the next case going forward into the future, rather than having the same thing repeat itself over and over again. Of course, the big thing to note and state, this is all my personal opinion, just rating the skins overall and giving my thoughts and takes on them. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button and of course subscribe. And before we hop into today's commentary, overview, and rating of this new case, here's a quick word from our video sponsor, Skinport. Now, today's video sponsor is, of course, Skinport. Skinport is currently the biggest, most secure buying and selling marketplace for Counter-Strike Global Offensive skins in North America and Europe. It's currently trusted by 10,000 people and some more who gave it a 4.9 to a 5-star rating on a place like Trustpilot. Buying skins is very easy and is great with discounts up to 30% and, of course, over 420,000 options to choose from. In those instances where you want to buy something, for an example, you're going to run into examples of something like this. The Bayonet Doppler, currently listed on the Steam market for $507. Skinport is offering for $382 USD, of course. That's a 29% off discount compared to what it has on the Steam market. Checking out whether you're buying or selling skins is easy, fast, and secure. With selling, of course, it goes to your bank directly via bank transfer with no hidden fees whatsoever, which is very, very nice. If you guys are interested in selling some of your skins or picking up some new flashy ones, make sure to check them out in the top of the link in the description below. So my first take at this case when it first released was, wow, this is extremely underwhelming. But I will say, before we go into the ratings of these specifically, a lot of these weapons and a lot of these skins specifically are extremely underrated. There are skins that I think are going to go under the radar for a very long period in time. There are skins that look like skins we've had before on different weapons, or maybe even the same weapon. For example, the M4A4 Polymag looks like the exact same thing from Modern Warfare that came out in 2019 as a skin in that game that was obviously in this game. It looks the exact same, one for one. Obviously, this also looks like the exact same thing as the Desert Strike that came out years prior. This is pretty much a reskin of that, a redesign, but I like this specifically. And the first skin I'm going to start off with is the UMP Roadblock. This is a very familiar skin, it feels like to me, because it reminds me of something like the Slate. The Slate for the AK-47 in the Snakebite case is one of my favorite skins in CSGO of all time. It's not a skin that I'm rocking currently right now, but it's a skin I have in my inventory and I love crafting on it. That's literally the reason I love it so much, is because it's a crafting type of weapon, especially for the AK on the T side for CSGO. And this is exactly what this reminds me of. It's an easy kind of blank canvas, so you can put whatever you want on it, and it's just a very, very nice skin overall. And also going forward, I'm not going to be covering every single skin in this case because I feel like not every single skin is absolutely amazing. I'm just going to be doing the ones that I find the most interesting. Next up, of course, is the M4A4 Polymag, like we talked about earlier, and this is something that's actually grown on me quite a bit. When I first saw this thing, I was like, wow, this is absolutely disgusting. I absolutely hate this weapon skin overall. But for a mil-spec skin in the game, I feel like this really changes up how a weapon plays and feels inside of CSGO. Already being a very cheap price of 90 cents just a couple days after this in factory new, or close to that anyway. It's a very interesting skin overall. And of course, since you guys know I love something like a Slate or the Roadblock, for an example, for the UMP, or a Redline for the AK, or a printstream for the M4, it's a blank canvas. And that's what I like. If you want to create stickers, I absolutely love that you can do that on here. But it's also the type of weapon where you can kind of have a blank canvas, but you can at the same time. It's a weapon that I feel like is very, very diverse, which is very, very interesting. And next up, beside the Polymag, is another mil-spec skin, and this is, of course, the Glock 18 Winterized. This is something that's very, very interesting. This is like a Call of Duty blueprint for a Glock straight out of COD, but placed in CSGO. And the different texture you have on the Glock is so, so interesting, and it's something I just really, really like overall. And this is something I've been wanting on a Glock or something like this for a very long time. Something that we got recently on the Glock for a more recent skin was also like this, and it was just really, really interesting. That's what really took everything away from me, was that. But this is now the man in charge here. Now, I was going to go over and choose and cover the M249, but this is something I actually want changed inside of CS. This is a really unique, it's a really cool looking skin, but sadly the M249 is just a weapon in CSGO most people never really ever buy, especially if they're taking the game half serious. It's not something you ever buy, and it's more so of a meme and a joke. And the skins that I feel like they put on that they put on weapons like this, and of course things like the sawed off, the R8, which we will get to in today's video, should be rifle skins, and they're not, and it's kind of sad, I feel like. Next up is the SG553 Dragon Tech. This is, I would say, a mid-tier SSG skin. I'm not sure why I don't like it as much as I did. Checking out the first day, I've really enjoyed it, and someone who wants to collect green skins inside of CS is really gonna like this, but overall, after time has gone, I just don't really like it. I'm not sure why. I just feel like with there being a pattern or some sort of actual background or colorful palette and a painting type of thing on a weapon like the SG553, it just really isn't very well appealing overall. Next up on our list is something that Valve has been continuing to blow out of the water, and that is of course the dual Berettas Flora Carnivore. We're just gonna call them Flora Carnivore. Shit. These are really awesome. These are really unique, and I feel like with the Dreams and Nightmares dual Berettas as well, they were just so cool, and they've been doing such a good job with them. But once again, it's kind of like the M249 situation. Why are we getting these type of skins on weapons like this and not something like an actual weapon we'll use on a day-to-day basis, like a MAC-10 or a rifle that we'll use every single day, or even something like the Desert Eagle for an example. Now, next up is of course the Vent Rush for the P90. I'm going to quickly gloss over this because the last three on this list are really awesome that I want to cover. This I feel like is a really weird skin. It feels like sometimes the skin or part of the skin isn't loading specifically when you're playing the game with this one. I had to load it 2 different times to make sure I wasn't bugging out, but it feels like it's kind of like a heat wave, and then it has like leather all over the gun. That's what it feels like to me, which is really interesting. And of course, one of my favorite skins, if not my favorite on this entire list, is the P250 Visions. This is like an acid trip right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is so cool, and it feels like oil that was spilled all over your driveway after you do an oil change. That's what it looks like, just smeared all over to a P250. It's just a really unique weapon skin. Sadly, I don't think the colors really change if you go somewhere different in the map, but I think it's just a really unique P250. I think people are really going to enjoy it, but it's only going to be for certain people in certain crowds. That's how I feel like this case is overall. Next up, of course, is the sawed-off Kiss Love. I'm going to briefly go over this as well. It's not my favorite skin inside of CS. I'm not really an anime person, but I will say it's very visually appealing, just like this entire case. I feel like this entire case, alongside with Dreams and Nightmares, have both been huge trips, and I feel like these skins are for individual players. Like, we've had cases for people like me, and these are cases I think for other people in the community, which is really awesome. People have been wanting more skins like this, and I think it's really cool. I think it's really unique. It's one of my favorite ones in this case, actually. And third to last up on our list is the AK-47 Ice Cold. Now, this is something I actually have discussed and actually put in a thumbnail a few weeks ago for a video for submissions for the new case that was going to be coming out in CS. I didn't know a new case was going to be coming out, but I thought maybe we'd see this in another case, and we actually guessed the exact rarity as well. They had it as a restricted, and I guessed it was going to be a pink classified rifle, which I was exactly right, which that's pretty cool. But this skin overall, it feels like a very budget AK blue gem. I don't know what and why that is. I just don't really like the way this rifle looks. And I firstly want to discuss the Nightwish in Dreams and Nightmares. I felt like that skin was extremely overrated at the beginning, and then I felt like it was kind of underrated. But this skin overall, the first impressions is really bad. I don't like the way it looks. It's really weird, but I'm not sure if it's weird because I haven't seen anything like it before, and that's where I'm kind of leaning towards going into the future of this skin. And of course, the last two on our list is of course the AWP. And this right away isn't like what I thought it was going to be like, where it changes color, like kind of like the print stream, different lighting in different parts of the map. It's just very weird. It's very wild. It's very different, like I said, with every other skin in this case compared to any other case in the game. We have not really seen an AWP like this in the game, let alone a rifle skin. It's kind of like the Nightwish, but it's not that unique, I'd say. But it's just kind of a skin that it's only going to appeal to certain individual players in the game, which I think is really cool. And that's what this case, I think, was meant for, was individual people. And last up on our list is, of course, the USPS print stream. This has been a long-awaited thing. I think this has been meant to come in CS for a very long period in time, and it's finally here. People love the print stream. This is becoming the new hyper beast, where they had it, of course, on the AWP, the M4A1S, and now the 5.7, and of course, that's kind of turning into the print stream right now. Will this continue on for an example, the AWP, the AK down the line, most likely I would say, because it is so loved right now. And with the golds inside this case, I've discussed this earlier on for a different video later this week, and that's pretty much the golds inside this case are gloves, and they're Broken Fang gloves. They're nothing special, but I think a good thing about having the gloves reused once again is Valve, I think, is trying to make cases going on in the future and just overall skins people are obtaining easier for the public, if that makes any sense. And here's where I'm going with this. So knives aren't cheap by any means, but they're a lot cheaper than most gloves in the game at this point in time. And gloves are something a lot of people want and desire, but it's becoming a second thing. People are getting their knives, people are getting their inventories first, then gloves. Gloves are a secondhand thought. But with gloves being inside of more cases, people are going to be able to obtain gloves a lot easier, making the price go down and more obtainable to more people. So I think this is a good thing of what they're doing. They're going to make gloves like these a lot more affordable, and you're going to see people with gloves, I think, in the next 2 to 3 years more than you are right now currently in matchmaking games, for an example. Let me know what you guys think of this case down below. Really love to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions. I, for one, actually really like this case. I think it's very unique to CSGO, and it's most likely the most unique we'll probably ever see for the next couple of years anyway. Let me know what you guys think down below. Peace out, guys.